Welcome, everybody, to GM Junior Scouting's podcast. Tonight, we're going to go into a little in-depth look at three different players on the defensive side of the ball that each one of us has taken a look at off 2015 film. And we're going to sort of give you a look at what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, and what we hope to see come 2016. So to start things off, we're going to give it to my longest tenured guy, Mike Kalina, who's been with me forever. And Mike's going to sort of jump into this and give us his first guy.
Thanks, Russ. The guy I've got for us tonight, TCU's Josh Caraway, defensive lineman, one of the guys that I absolutely love. I'd heard a lot about him over the last 4 or 5 months, and this guy is a coach's dream. He's 6'3", 250. Although he's a D lineman, I actually think he projects better as a 34 outside linebacker. Very, very fluid, very, very balanced in what he does. But what's best about him is he is scheme sound. He's going to set the edge. He's going to be protective against the run, and he's going to get after the football behind the line of scrimmage, whether it be against the pass or the run game. He's got good speed. He doesn't have the elite burst off the edge, which would make him not a first-round pick. He's a second-round pick that, again, would be that coach's dream. The only other real drawback to him is he does need to improve his strength a little bit. He can get caught up a little bit by some of the bigger blockers off the edge and get pushed off to the side in the run game. But if he can get that strength base set up for him, he can really set that edge and just, be that great football player. Ceiling for him wise, he's an all-pro. Floor is a floor type position for him. He's a rotational end, but he's actually best in a 2-point than a 3-point. So that's why I see him as better as a 3-4 outside linebacker going into the NFL.
All right, and from Mike, we're going to get Rick, who played at Mississippi, played at Shippensburg, and has been with me for 2 years now, and he's going to give me a little insight into some SEC defensive player.
Thanks, Russ. Well, one of the guys that I've been very impressed with is Alabama's inside linebacker, Reuben Foster. He's a former mega recruit. He's a great athlete. He's got very good size. He's a big, strong, burly kid. I think he projects best as a 34 inside linebacker at the next level, which he has a ton of experience playing in Nick Saban's defense. But I also think he has enough speed and athleticism to play inside in a 43 front as well. He's very, very strong against the run. He's got the speed and athleticism to make sideline-to-sideline plays. And I think he also offers some upside as a pass rusher, both inside and outside. He can be a force blitzing A and B gaps. Two things that concern me a little bit that I think he needs to improve on. One thing is coverage. He can get a little stiff in his transition and in his footwork, dropping back in coverage. And he also has the somewhat inconsistent motor. But these aren't major issues. These are things that can be remedied, and I think he's got tremendous upside at the next level.
Well, that's awesome. I'll tell you, the guy that I want to talk about is probably a guy that almost everybody in the country has heard his story. Eddie Vanderdoth, the defensive tackle at UCLA, started off as a big-time recruit, went to Notre Dame, thought he was going to be everything, the superstar, and he actually went through a transfer process before he even played at Notre Dame to go home to be closer to family due to someone in his family being sick. And ever since he's been at UCLA, he's really developed into a very good football player before actually blowing out his knee midway through the 2015 season. So seeing how he recovers from that obviously is going to be key to where he goes in the draft. But I think when you look at him as a player, he's a unique guy because he's got quickness off the ball. He knows how to defeat blocks to get behind the line of scrimmage. He's powerful enough to anchor against double teams. He's athletic enough to chase down ball carriers in pursuit. So he's really a guy that can play in any front. I think his best position is as a 3 technique in a 43 scheme, but I have no doubt that he could be a 5 technique in a 34. I mean, I really like this kid. I'd like to see him be a little bit more creative as a pass rusher. He tends to fall in love with either power rushing or trying to shoot the gap and doesn't use his hands consistently. And also there are times where he gets out of control in terms of he doesn't use his hands and feet in sync, and he uses them on the same side often at the wrong time, and it leads to him getting tied up and eliminated. He needs to work on his fundamentals. I think if he had not been hurt, right now you'd be talking about a second-round pick with a chance to be a first-rounder. With a strong senior year. Obviously, he's going to have to come back healthy. He's going to have a great senior year, and he's going to have to check out medically at the combine to be a high pick. But I think when you look at long-term potential, this is a guy that could be an 8 to 10 year starter, outstanding character, all the things you want in a defensive lineman in the NFL. So we're going to stop real quick. We're going to come right back, and we're going to get into some offensive players in 1 minute.